Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this 3D style bootleg bling text effect using Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. It's inspired by those old pen and pixel rap album covers that were popular in the 90s and early 2000s, but using the new 3D workflow in Adobe Illustrator, we can achieve this effect pretty easily. So to get started, we want to open a document in Adobe Illustrator. Let's make that 16 by 20 inches with a black background at 300 pixels per inch. So first we want to start by adding our text. For this example, I'm just going to say something like savage mode. And for this example, I'm using the font Dharma Gothic Heavy, which is free on Adobe Fonts. So we just want to resize this to match the size of the canvas. And let's change the color. I'm going to change the color to an orangish color because the end effect will be like a metallic gold. I'm going to add a little bit of an arch effect to it. So I'm just going to warp that with an arc lower at around 15%. Click OK. Then once you have your text layout finalized, you want to go to Object, click Expand, make sure Object and Fill are both checked, and then click OK. Then we can start adding our 3D effect. To do this, you just go to Window and then 3D and Materials, and that will open up your 3D workflow. You want to click this Object tab and then scroll all the way to the top and then click Extrude. So to get the look that we want, you want to scroll down to Rotation and use the Front preset. And then you can play around with the X rotation and you can just expose the bottom a little bit, put it at an angle. And then if you scroll up, you can adjust the depth and the taper to your liking. Then if you go to the Materials tab, you can adjust your material properties. So this is like adjusting the roughness and metallicness of the material, but for this tutorial I'm going to keep it pretty simple and just leave it at the default settings. So if we go to the Lighting tab, you can adjust the shadows of your 3D object, and I like to add in another light by clicking this button here and then just illuminating the bottom a little bit. So the key to doing this is I think you want to add a little bit of contrast and make the shadows more interesting just to accentuate the 3D depth. So I like to put that down here, and then if I scroll down, I can adjust the intensity, and I might just want to lower that intensity a little bit just to make it so it's not so washed out. So something like that. So once you played around with it and got the lighting to your liking, you can click it and then copy it. So you can either hit Control-C or Command-C if you're using a Mac, and you can bring that back into Photoshop. So let's open up a new Photoshop document, and we'll make that the same size, 16 by 20 inches, 300 pixels per inch, RGB color mode, and 8-bit colors. So let's hit Control-V or Command-V to paste. And now we have our 3D text inside Photoshop. So in order to make it look a little bit more metallic, I like to double click the layer and then add a layer style. And then we can add a gradient overlay. So the key to doing this is to have, I like to make it look gold. So I try to put a dark brown on either end and then kind of alternate between like a golden color and then lighter highlight color. So you can kind of play around with it. This is what mine looks like right now. Then once you added your gradient to it, you can click OK, and you want to make sure that the blend mode, I like to use hard light, but you can play around with what works well for you. And then you can also play around with the opacity to blend it with the original 3D color. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to add our text effect on top, the bootleg Bling text effect. So I have a few of them for free on my site that you can try out. So if you go to the link in the description and then download the free bootleg wrap textile pack, you can go to Window and then open your Styles panel, and then hit this hamburger menu and then import styles, and then you import that .asl file, and then you should see the free text effects here. So what I'm going to do next is go back to Adobe Illustrator, and then I'm going to go to Window, go to the Appearance panel, and then I'm going to turn off that 3D layer. I'm going to toggle that off. Then I'm going to select the text and then copy it again, so Control C or Command C, and then I'm going to bring this back into Photoshop. I'm going to paste that on top. So let's line that up to where the 3D text was. Now we can add our bootleg wrap text effect to it. So let's bring back the style panel and then bring back your textile pack. And I'm just going to use this gold jewelry style that I have for free. So if I click that top layer and then click the style, it automatically adds an effect. And since these are using layer styles, they're 100% editable. So I just want to make a couple tweaks to make this look a little bit cleaner. So if I double click that layer and then open the layer styles panel, I'm going to adjust the stroke. So I'm going to change this position from center to inside, just so it aligns with the 3D layer a little bit more. And then I'll adjust the gradient colors a little bit, just to match the golden color of the 3D text. I like to remove this lighter highlight color and just drag this out. It just makes it look a little bit darker, but this is all preference. You can change it however you want. So click OK. Then I'm gonna lower the outer glow a little bit. You know, you can leave it if you want, but I think it looks a little bit nicer if it's a little bit more subtle, especially when you put the 3D effect on it. So I'm gonna click OK, and that's about it. You can click and merge these two layers, and then you can, you know, add your other elements to your design, but that's the whole 3D effect. And if you're wanting even more jewelry textiles, I have another pack, the Ultimate Jewelry Textile Pack, available on my site, and that has a ton more jewelry effects that you can use. So just like the other ones, they're 100% editable. If you scroll all the way down to the 2D effects, you just have a ton more, you know, bling jewelry style one-click effects that you can add. And then one little trick that I like to do is, if you go to your layers panel and you hover over this effects icon and then right click, you can scale the effect, and then you can really customize the size of the pattern to fit you know, the size of your design. So yeah, if you got any value from this tutorial and you want to support the channel, I'd appreciate it if you take a look at my site, browse the tools that I have. I have a ton of one-click text effects, image effects for vintage bootleg designs, just tons of stuff on there to help you design stuff a lot easier and faster. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.